nice to be with you here today. I'm here to talk about bridging with React Native. I don't know who is developing with React Native here. Nobody. Well, I'm happy. That means you probably don't know some things which are there, and that means we're going to maybe learn something, which is actually the purpose of this presentation. As you know, React Native is a framework which has been created by Facebook, and it has a very efficient feature, which is the bridging, and that's the thing I will be talking today about. As you can see in the picture, I picked a beautiful bridge. Let's say it's a beautiful bridge, because it's not just a functional bridge. It's really extremely well done, and that makes a huge difference from a developer perspective. So, my name is Paul. I'm head of JavaScript development at Evozon. I'm also CEO of Buy Me Coffee. It's an investment company. I'm also pretty much involved in the Cluj JavaScripters community, and I'm mentoring some companies and some developers and entrepreneurs. So, I took these lines out of the presentation that Facebook has about their own framework. So I'll let you read the three statements, and then we'll come back to that. Yes, it's a framework, definitely. The goal of the framework is to allow you to build world-class mobile applications, and it's also important for Facebook that use their React framework, because that was the point of their experiment. And least but not last, it's about developer efficiency. So I highlighted two things that I think are really important here, which is developer experience and developer efficiency. Of course, we all want to be efficient. It's a matter of optimization. But there's another word which is pretty important, which is developer experience. I think in the last years, we've seen a lot of efforts from all the language providers and the framework providers to make our life better. So we took a lot for years about user experience, like the website has to be nice and you have to enjoy it and everything has to be beautiful as a customer. But for us developers for many years, it was like, oh, you can just be in your text editor and like whatever happens, happens, and there you go. But you're a coder, so what do you need? Something better. I think, which is a good thing, things have changed a lot. We've seen the rise of Atom and open source editors. And the next step that we are seeing now is the fact that frameworks or languages are trying to become more attractive and more easy to use for us and make our life easier. And this becomes one of their main features. It's not something nice that they should have. It becomes their main feature. And it is related to developer efficiency. And why is this important? It's important because the size of the applications that we are doing or maintaining is constantly increasing. But the capacity that we have to code is not constantly increasing. Right? So it is very important to see what can be done at a very big level for very big applications, what can be done so that the developer can produce on a large scale. So my thoughts about React Native are the following. I'm very enthusiastic about it. It's a developer-centric framework. I think that's really important to note. probably doesn't say much to you, but React is basically a component-based way to write components. It has been built by Facebook for the web applications because it has huge problems of scalability, and it's based on reactive programming. I will not go into this discussion further today, but it is an answer to large-scale applications, and as you might know, React is one of the leading frameworks today in terms of web applications, and it starts to be a very interesting framework in terms of mobile development, obviously, and especially for developers that know JavaScript. But on the other hand, if you are an Android developer, you probably are not an iOS developer, and vice versa. Who's doing both? Okay, 3 guys, that's good. For the others, this is interesting, because you might, by learning JavaScript, be able to do both platforms. So, does it replace native applications? In most of the cases, it can. It's a big discussion, I will not get there. The beautiful part of React Native, and we'll see this in a minute, it is the bridging part, and I'll go more into this topic in a couple of minutes. So, I think Facebook brought a new concept in our world of developers, which is proposing a shift of mentality. And the shift of mentality is here. Before, we were sending our guys doing trainings to learn new technologies and become better on that technology to respond to that need. And now, it's the reverse. Facebook adapts technologies to their developers. So that's pretty cool, because this time we're thinking about us as human beings, and not about us as technology, as tools that raise here and there. This trend is clearly visible, and is going to be accentuated in the next years. That's absolutely sure. Okay, so there was a short introduction. So I'm going to talk about bridging. This is a very schematic architecture, but basically, as you know, mobile applications have a main thread. This thread controls the UI, acts on the components, consumes, here's a typo, the API, and eventually, when needed, when there are costly operations, it will use a secondary thread. Okay, everybody knows this, and that's pretty cool. React Native is proposing something similar, but it does 2 things. First of all, it will, let's see, here, it will launch from the beginning a secondary thread, which is the JavaScript interpreter. So here's the place where the JavaScript code will run. When the code runs here, it will send messages to the main thread and tell to the main thread what it should do, what component it should display, or what action it should do. So basically, in the standard React application, React Native application, there's almost no Android code. I'm saying Android because that's going to be my demo. There's almost no Android code that you will write here, or probably not at all. Most of your code will be in JavaScript. And for longer operations, you will use workers. Okay. So, in theory, all the frameworks that are mixing JavaScript with native coding are doing the same. But what is absolutely remarkable in React Native is the quality of the bridge, is the simplicity of the bridge, its efficiency. And I think what I try to show you is a short run through a piece of code so that you can see how easily you can achieve this. So in the code that I will show you, we'll see how some JavaScript code can, through the bridge, call some native code. Yeah, this is always a tricky moment. Everybody knows this. So, let's see. Hopefully everything will go well. Okay. So here I have a Genymotion emulator. It's an emulator that emulates Android applications. I took the default application that React proposes when you init a new project. As you can see, there's not a lot of code. Basically, the code is what you can see here. I don't know, maybe I'll make it bigger if I can. Oh, sorry. No, apparently it's not for this. Anyway, basically all my code is presented here. What I did, I took an example from the React Native tutorials, and the point was to connect this code, meaning this button, with the trigger of a toast message. So let's look a bit in the Android code. I think we'll try to go in demo mode. Presentation mode, sorry. Before I'm entering there, so it's kind of small, but I think you'll see it. At the bottom of every React Native application, there is a main activity, nothing new. This main activity has very few lines, that's all. And what I did is that I added a toast module class, which basically has a method that I'm interested in, which is here, which is a toast method. So very few lines of code. No, actually, we're going to try to close the definition. Okay, no, that's better. So let's look at this class. Very simple, right? The class extends a React context-based Java module. It has one required method, which is getName. This is used by the JavaScript counterpart to identify the class. Here, I've declared some constants that I want to expose in JavaScript as well. And this is the most simple version of toast method for Android. The trick is that it is enough for me to add this annotation, React method, to make this function available in my JavaScript code. So that's all I have to do. Basically, if I have to do some custom code in Android, I can think as I want in Android, extending this class, and then I'm exposing my methods. I can expose constants, and of course I can send messages and receive messages. I didn't go that far in this demo. Once I've done my simple class with my functionality, I will need just to register this class in a package. That's a packager, that's the way they call them. So I created a DevTalks package, and in this DevTalks package, I registered my toast module demo class. The nice part of the package is that I can create as many classes as I want, organize them in a logical manner, and then expose them all through one single package. So that was step number 2. And we're going to go now to step number 3. Step number 3 is also extremely easy. I'm just registering here. I'm saying to React Native to expose my packager. So this is the main React package. It comes with the application. And this is the new package I want to expose. So as you can see, it's far from being complicated. And the beautiful part is obviously that there is a parity between my code in Android and my code on the JavaScript side. Same thing goes for iOS. It's exactly the same amount of code. Okay, so let's see the JavaScript part now. Here I created a file, which is a JavaScript module. The only thing I had to do is to import native modules from the React Native main package. And then I'm going to export my Toast on Android package towards my application. In the application, I'm importing very easily the representation of the class. In our case, Toast Android, we have the show method and 2 constants, which was Toast long and Toast short. And then I'm connecting my Java code, I'm like gluing my Java code with my JavaScript code with this. Actually, it's just this. Okay? So, basically, when I'm going to my application, and we're going to launch it, we're going to launch it. Hopefully this will work. I'm always a bit anxious about that. There we go. Let's see. Okay, so I just added in my React Native code access to native code, like in minutes. If I need to modify the way my Toast is working, if I need to add a service, if I need to add anything that is not already yet available in React Native, it takes probably 5 to 10 minutes to build a new class that fits my needs and that exposes its methods to my JavaScript frame. So basically, this is the correspondence or the representation between the 2 codes. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. So when you're a native coder, probably it looks weird because you're used to do Android or you're used to do Cocoa or Swift, and you're like, why should I learn something new? First of all, you should not if you're not interested into, because it works as it is. But in case you want to do Android and iPhone altogether and diminish the time you're spending coding the application, then you should consider taking a look at this. In my department, we evaluated React Native last year, a few months after the release of the Android version of it. And now we are already, I think we're doing the 4th application. So far, our learning curve brings us to an equivalence between doing everything native or doing it with React Native. But we expect that by the end of the year, with the training that we will get and the modules that we are building ourselves and exposing to the community, to increase our productivity between 20 to 40% on average for projects that do both platforms. So, yeah, I think that was the presentation, more or less. It's pretty short. So if you have questions, I'm
adapt the, let's say, the regular setup because it seems a bit not really improving efficiency. You are having the JavaScript code in one ID, and then you're using Evozon.
Oh, we're using two IDs?
Yeah.
Oh, well, many reasons for that. Because you can get valuable information from the console that you see in the Android Studio. You have the completion of the classes, everything in Studio. So when I'm touching my Android code, in case I'm doing something custom, then I'll do it in the Android code. When I'm working with my JavaScript application, I want to use, in my case, the Visual Studio Code.
So then can you describe a bit the debugging experience, like if you want to debug the JavaScript code?
Sure.
How do you do that?
You're going next. I mean, it's dangerously beautiful.
Yeah.
You guys will not want to start doing the things again before, like you did before. So check this out. A feature that is very interesting here is this one, which is I'm going to disable for reloading and re-enable it to make sure it works. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say that now I'm not going to write awesome anymore. I'm going to write this is cool. Hot reload. This is cool. If you're coding with compiled applications, you're spending half your life waiting for the compiler to bring the app to life. I mean, I guess that's your case. It has been my case. At moments there were no SSDs, and like it was taking 5 minutes for me for the stuff to run anything on the virtual machine. So this is just like it kicks ass. Let's go a bit farther. I need to see what this class is about. Okay. Let's reload it. No, actually, I'm going to do that. We're going to do console when I'm taking on my stuff. Okay. There we go. Hopefully the code is okay. So let's see what happens in the Android part. Actually, you've seen what happened. I have the console of my JavaScript code pushed to the JavaScript console, to the Android console. However, this gets even better because you can debug your application directly in Chrome. Okay? And then I can explore in a much nicer way than you guys do. It's on your console when it's about objects. I can really search my stuff. I can even execute code. So I'm not a specialist in Android coding anymore. I've done that a couple of years ago. I don't know how it is really like today. I know there are improvements. There's code reloading. There are a couple of things that are much better. But this is kicking ass. Like I would never like to go back to Android and compile my stuff and make like search in the console things with strings and stuff like that. No way. So yeah, I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, one more question is related to maybe continuous integration and unit testing. What tools would you need to install to do all that?
I'm not sure to be able to give a good answer because I've not done it myself. What I know is that React Native has its own automation tool embedded into the framework. So from a JavaScript perspective, you can automate everything. And then obviously for Java code, you can either use the end-to-end, end-to-end, or the integration part to test it, or do separate tests on Java.
I have a bunch of questions actually. One of it is regarding the architecture of the applications and how does this actually works on a bigger project? Because you describe the perfect world with an application or with small applications, right? Without really architectural background. But if we're talking about low coupling between modules, how does this work with Creative?
I couldn't say that the 4 applications we did are huge applications, so I cannot give you a real experience about that. I can only give you an instinctive response about that. Basically, probably I'll go back to this. Now, before that, let me show you something else, because that's also something that you will love a lot. The perf monitor. Have you seen this before? Okay. Can you see here? So this is a performance monitor that gives me the FPS of my native thread and my JavaScript thread. I certainly have done something wrong because I'm dropping the frames. I have no idea what it is right now. But at least I have an idea that I've done it wrong. So I'm showing this to you because what determines for me the performance is the fact that you wouldn't be capable of C if you are a native or a React Native application. Then when it comes to scaling, React is extremely modular. It's a module-based, it's not even a module, sorry, it's a component-based architecture, which means you can create components that have subcomponents and so on, and everything is done on a reactive principles. Therefore, we don't foresee problems in making architectures in an application like we had in Android, because you can only do it in one way, which is actually a very good way. It's the way that React as a framework proposes.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that you cannot actually create a separation of concern if you're using this, right? Because everything will be related to the UI part. So you cannot actually reuse that into some other project.
Sure, you can. Because there are two things. On one hand, if you have something that is purely native, you make a module that is native, and then you can just move it through other projects if you want to keep it native. Even if they're not supposed to be React Native later, they can be just normal classes. The annotation doesn't bother you later. Okay. And on the React part, it works with NPM. So basically, when you need something, you just look in the NPM repository, and whatever you need, you just get it. And if it's your own company, you can have your own repo. So we just make a package JSON, and you say, I want this feature, and it comes with the JavaScript and native counterpart.
Okay, and one last question. How does this affect the new Android permission and runtimes?
Not at all. Actually, everything runs into an Android shell or an iPhone shell. From the Android system, the application is an Android native application. So the permissions and everything that accesses the access to services, to API, and everything is exactly the same.
Is it fair to say that the JavaScript gets translated into Android code and then gets it wrong? Is it an NPL?
No, it's not gets translated. There are representations. It's the bridging part.
There's no question.
So I have a question regarding back to the debugging. I saw that you are using Evozon, and what would happen when you need to debug using a real device? Because you are saying, but I saw that you clicked on a lot of features coming from Evozon, actually.
You shake the phone and you get the name.
Ah, okay.
I have a question about specific features about Android, for Android and iOS. I'm thinking especially about Android services. How do you implement a feature where you start a service on Android and expect something from it, like an event or some sort of event to get to your JavaScript part?
The bridge offers asynchronous callbacks. So I can set in my JavaScript code callbacks that will be called by my Android code whenever the service has an event. Everything is based on callbacks. So that means I'm going to do my service in a Java class, and it's going to be a service, a purely Android service. this service is going to, when you launch the application, is going to publish data on the callbacks I have sent from my JavaScript thread. And when he publishes that event, or he sends an intent, the JavaScript thread is informed and triggers the action that you need.
And is there something like a broadcast receiver or equivalent to JavaScript?
JavaScript only knows about callbacks, and that's really cool, because basically even the broadcast or sentiments or whatever you do is about callbacks. You can give it whatever name you want. But JavaScript simplifies it a lot. Everything is a callback. Then you just set the type of the callback and what it should do. And the nice part is that you'll see, if you look more into it, React Native proposes also to do some cast operations, which is not part of JavaScript, but they add this layer so that you don't get confused with the type of parameters that you receive or send.
Can I make a suggestion? If you have any other questions, just buy go for Pavel, buy the whole couple of years, and we'll tell you what's on.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause.